I'm here with Melanie Brooks of Earth and Wood Studio, and you know what? We are so excited to be introducing something new here at Beads, Baubles, and Jewels. It's called steampunk, and we've been hearing so much about it. So Melanie's here to tell us exactly what is it.
Steampunk came from the science fiction and fantasy genre. So it came from literature, and it started to branch out. It's a combination of Victorian aesthetics and culture mixed with futuristic technology and ideas.
I can see the goggles, so that's probably a good example of what you're talking about.
Right. As it branched out, it turned into costuming and fashion. So a lot of people will wear the goggles as a symbol of their steampunk persona that they've created.
How fun is that?
Yeah.
So now, what is your specialty?
I'm a ceramic artist. I work in porcelain, and I created a line of beads and components that are steampunk inspired. I've used motifs like gears and compasses, keys, keyholes, propellers, and things like that have a little bit more of an industrial feel.
Terrific. And what we're going to do today, we're going to look at that necklace. We're actually taking one of those components, the ceramic beads, and we're actually making it into the necklace in that steampunk form.
Right.
So what's the first thing we do to get started?
The first thing we do is we take this natural brass bead, and it's not plated, so it can be manipulated.
And it has a beautiful vintage look to it.
Yes, it does. It's got a hole through it, and you can, using a beater's awl, start to open it up and pry it open. And as you do that,
look at that. I
you
would
can
never
start to
think
see
of
the
doing
seam.
that.
Isn't it
That's
interesting?
wonderful.
And as you continue to pry it open with your pliers and with your fingers, it folds down flat. So it's starting to create a setting.
Right.
You can take that even further with a pair of flat nose pliers and squeeze to flatten it out entirely.
Okay.
So what you end up with is a flat setting like this.
Which is pretty in and of itself.
Right.
Look at that.
You could use that as a beading component, but we're going to use it as a prong setting to set a porcelain cabochon.
Okay.
So I've got the setting here, and I've taken the cabochon and placed it down, and again with my pliers, I've started to fold up the edges to create a prong setting.
What an interesting prong. Yeah.
So it'll start to set in there, and as we continue, I fold down on the prong setting to hold it in place. And
just lock it in.
yep, I do that on 3 sides for this pendant.
Now, do you have to be careful because you are working with ceramic to make sure that you aren't pressing too hard or anything like that?
This is a high-fired ceramic, so it'll take a lot of abuse. But you do want to, use some eye protection. That's where your goggles can come in.
Yeah, there you go.
So I've flattened down all 3 prongs, and then the last touch is with my round nose pliers. I've gone and folded a bail by folding it in, and that holds it in place to create the pendant.
How fun is that? So now all you're doing at this point is taking that and then just stringing it with something a little bit more contemporary,
Right.
futuristic. So
Right.
as we look at the necklace that we showed you earlier, that is a good combination because we've taken that and that's what forms steampunk, which is great. Now let's go ahead and look at some of the other components that you brought with you, which is right here. Walk us through some of these.
I've got a couple of variations here of the same pendant, one with a single gear and one with a mechanical scarab design that I carved.
Yeah.
And then there's some other natural brass pieces that can be used for settings. These are already flattened, and you can set them around a variety of cabochons or ceramic stones.
Perfect.
This is another one where it's a whole setting around a ceramic bead.
Look at that. That's fun.
Wrapped around.
So lots of different options that you can kind of just use as a base and then get creative around it. Now you brought with you another necklace. This necklace is extraordinary.
Thank you.
Explain that one.
That one has the mechanical scarab again, and it's a variation on the pendant that we just made. So I've got other scarabs in there, and I wanted to go for sort of an Egyptian look with it. And with the brass and the porcelain, it still has a steampunk look. So it's got that old with the new.
So nice mixture together. And then we're not finished yet. We have some others. Let's start over with this necklace here.
This piece has some of my round gears in it, and I was really inspired by an old clock with all the gear movements that it has. And I wanted something very elegant with the gears. So that's a more elegant steampunk version.
And the one in the center?
The one in the center has a keyhole, and it actually has an old key attached to the side and some other found objects like a coin and another gear. And then I've used the brass along with some pearls. So it has a very old look, but it's asymmetrical. So it has a contemporary feel to it.
And then last but not least.
The other one is also inspired by clockwork. I wanted to make something that felt like it moved. All of the little discs move up and down and dangle, and so it just feels like it's a working clock.
You know what I like about that last one is that there's a little bit of sparkle in there.
A little bit of crystal.
Steampunk can have a little sparkle too.
Definitely.
So it's a nice mixture. So that's what's fun, is that we get an opportunity to introduce something new to you, steampunk. So just be creative. It's that mixture of futuristic meets vintage, and put it together, and then I love that you get to dress the part and
That's the fun part.
discover your inner steampunk.
Exactly.
Thank you so much.
Thank
that
you.
was fun.
If you enjoyed today's show and want to see more tips, techniques, and great guests, a DVD set of the entire Beads, Baubles, and Jewels Series 1100 is available at beadsbaublesandjewels.com for $39.99 plus $5 shipping and handling. Don't miss a single episode.